She opened the office every single day at 6 a.m., recruited every agent, built the whole thing. Then she came back from vacation and they told her they were voting her out and selling her shares. So she started over, built something bigger. And this past winter, that same company that voted her out called to ask her to come back. You're going to want to hear what she said. My guest today closed over 2,000 deals, went from Hooters waitress to elected official to brokerage owner, and she's about to hand you the exact playbook she'd run if she woke up tomorrow with zero contacts. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Cratered.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Cratered's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Cratered's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Cratered's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Cratered.io is the best tool out there. Visit Cratered.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Cratered.io. And now, onto the show. Welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name's DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show, and I am so excited with our guest today. We were just chatting backstage, and she is super fun, and she's got an amazing story that you have to hear. And so I am talking about Julia Hurley. She is from Knoxville, Tennessee, and let me tell you more about her. So she is best known for being a powerhouse connector, nationally recognized real estate agent, visionary entrepreneur who has built her brand on leadership, influence, and results. She's widely recognized for her success as the owner of Just Homes Group, which is her top 100 real trends recognition for more than 8 consecutive years, and her ability to merge real estate, business, media, and community impact beyond sales. She is also known for elevating people and opportunities through coaching, public service, athlete advocacy, and storytelling. She has built a reputation for creating momentum, opening doors, and helping others grow with confidence, purpose, and a bold commitment to excellence. She wrote a book that I want all agents to check out called Panic to Profit. It's anywhere you find books and on Amazon as well. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. So please check that out and follow her on Instagram at the Julia Hurley. But the best way to really connect and learn about all the cool things she does, go to her website, thejuliahurley.com. Is that right? The Julia Hurley, correct?
thejuliahurley.com. Yes.
And here she is, the Julia Hurley. We are excited to have you. And we were having a lot of fun backstage. And so we should now let the audience in on all the fun that we're having. So thank you first for being on the show. You're busy. You're a children's book writer too. I didn't even mention that. You have a cool children's book. You do a lot of really cool things. You do coaching and media training and all sorts of really cool stuff. And you've got an amazing story that I want to get into. So I want to start with something that you actually told us, which was about getting some bad advice. So you really mentioned that the worst advice that you ever got was to rely on somebody else to save you. And I love this because I first heard this from Brian Tracy, who maybe people don't even know anymore, but he said this, I heard it like 20 some years ago. And he said, no one is coming to save you. It's only you. And you have that same philosophy. So most people, they say it as just like a motivational line, but you actually lived this when nobody came to save you. So what was the moment where you knew no one's coming to save me and I have to do it myself?
Well, that's a great question because it depends on which career we're talking about because it's happened in every career I've had. Actually, the newest one I started, I've learned that lesson, so we are not doing that again. I will say in the real estate industry, I learned that when I had purchased into a business center with a group of real estate agents with a nationally recognized name. And I thought, okay, we've made it. Like, this is where we are. We're finally in the partnership deal. We are owners. This is the way it's going to go. It's going to be so great. And I poured my heart and soul into it. And I mean, I was there every single day. I opened the office every single day by 6 a.m. I was there every single day till 7 p.m. And I left for vacation, and then I came back, and the operating partner said, hey, we're voting you out.
Oh.
And we're selling your shares to other people. And I was like, I hope you die. So, I was like, there you go. I grew an amazing company for these people. I grew an amazing company for this company, and was promptly like, that was it. And it was insane to think that I could have relied on any of these people. I recruited every single one of those owners. I recruited every single agent in that office. I did everything for that office. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And then I was like, okay, great. See you later. Bye. I'm going to go start my own thing. And I did. So it was very difficult though, because once that happened and I contacted the people above this situation, they were like, our hands are tied because of our agreement with this person. We see what happened. We know what happened, but we also have an agreement above this agreement. That's an agreement above that agreement that stands 5 agreements thick, and all the things that I had done for years and years and years and years. So I was like, wow, that's okay. Cool. So that was my last that was the last time I will ever allow that to happen to me. That's for sure.
Well, I'm sad that happened to you, but I also know that you obviously have bounced back in a super impressive way. You're bigger and better than ever. And it builds resiliency. So that those obstacles, this shouldn't be happening to me, and it shouldn't have happened to you, but it did, really was a training. It's just, look, it's no different than me going to the gym and doing what I do. Well, my trainer makes me do one-legged wall sits, which if you've never done them, don't try. They are brutal. Mm-hmm. And even for 45 seconds, and I've been working out for like 6 years, I'm like, I'm strong. Like, no, I'm not. So I do those. And every single time it's like the worst pain I could imagine for that 45 seconds. And it's the best thing I could possibly do. So you didn't choose that, but it happened to you. And
I'll tell you this, the best thing that I experienced with that is this past year. Yeah. This past winter, that same company came and asked me to come back.
Wow.
So that is a testament to what I built after. So I gave you all of everything. I gave it to you. I built it for you. You decided you thought you could do it bigger, better, stronger, faster. Fine, cool, have at it. COVID hit, funny. You went from number 1 to number 5. I love that so much for you. And this past winter, they asked me to come back. I was like, no, I'm good. I appreciate the offer though. Like, not even angry about it. Just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Isn't that a great call to get, even though you're like, I'm not working with you guys again, but you didn't need them, but they needed you, and they figured that out. And having that, again, it's people that have been through the hardest experiences that are the most sort of reliable because they didn't have another path. You didn't have another path. You're like, I got to keep moving forward. And you did. And I love it. So let's talk about when something like that happens, when something really just awful happens. It happens to all of us. And let's talk about the first 90 days of rebuilding, and not the mindset, but like the actual mechanics. Like, who did you call? What did you say? How many times a day were you doing that? If I had a camera on you that first quarter after that happened,
it was brutal.
What would I have seen you doing?
I was the number one most followed real estate agent in the country in this company. Like I technically still have more followers than them now, but I mean, like at that time, I was the number one most referred agent in the United States of America for this company. And that's saying something because we live in the smallest town ever. So there was a lot of referrals going back and forth and exchanging. I was traveling all over the United States coaching for them. So I had made a lot of connections, a lot of contacts. And then when my name disappeared off the roster for this national company, I got phone calls from everywhere. I got phone calls from Canada. I got phone calls from agents in Hawaii. I'm in Tennessee. Like, people, what happened? What happened? What happened? And I'm like, I have an opportunity here to do what? Badmouth them? Tell everybody what really happened? That's not going to change anything. Nothing's going to change for these people here. Nothing's going to change for the ownership. It did eventually. There were some things that did happen. So, but I mean, that's not going to get me anywhere. Right. So then I was like, well, what am I going to do? But I literally fielded phone call after phone. I mean, it was freaking weeks of phone calls from agents all across the country that didn't see my name any longer at the top of this list that I had been on for years. And they were like, I don't know where she went. And she didn't tell us she was leaving. And now her name's not here and she's not my coach anymore. And I don't know what's going on. So my first 90 days was got to get all my listings and my signs changed and make sure all my contracts are changed. That's easy peasy, rice and cheesy. My clients could not have cared less what company I'm with. They don't care. They care about me. They care about their listing. Is it going to get sold? That's all they care about. Are they going to make money still? Absolutely. So then I had to go back and start contacting every single agent I had ever coached and worked with and be like, okay, well, I'm not there anymore, but this is where I'm at. I was removed from multiple online groups that I was in that were exclusive to this company. I probably lost 60, 70 million in sales in a year over not being the number one referral partner for this massive company, just because it is exclusive to certain conversations. So I was like, got to rebuild that. That's okay. Check mark, check that off the list. Like, I had money to rebuild it. I had time to rebuild it. I still have time to do whatever I want. So it's, that was the first 90 days. It's just realizing you really are, no matter how successful you think you get, you're alone. And then that prompted me to start my own brokerage. I own my own name. It's mine. No one's behind me. I'm not going to let that happen to me again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's made me stronger than ever.
I love it. And I want to talk about something that's a little bit vulnerable that you are willing to share. And I love that you're willing to talk about this. So, no agent, and by the way, lots of agents have to deal with this. Nobody ever talks about it. And this sort of thing has happened to me in a previous career, very similarly. So let's talk about, like, your name carried baggage for a while that that other agents don't have. Like, when a seller Googled you before a listing appointment, something came up, right? And tell us that story.
Okay. So, well, it depends on what you consider baggage. I consider it a badge of honor. So, I was a former elected official. I was an elected official for a decade. And before that, I was a Hooters waitress for 6 years. And my God, can you imagine? So not only did I get called everything but a white woman by every person you could ever imagine while I was running for office for being a Hooters girl. Once I was elected, that got even more and more and more. And then I go start a business. And then it was like, well, you are a certain party. I can't use you. I refuse to do business with you because you voted a certain way. I'm like, for the love of Jesus Christ Almighty, that has nothing to do with business. Business is business. So again, you've got to learn that. You have to learn in business, very thick skin. You are not going to make anybody happy if you're trying to make everybody happy. So you better make yourself happy first, right? Learn how to pick your clients. Clients are going to tell you they're not going to give you something. That's fine. Move on. I could not care less, Frank. Like, have a great day. Okay. I'll go do business with Betty. That's fine. So it's just I was constantly having to feel that uphill battle because my entire life was on the internet. Whether I like it or not. I still have a Wikipedia page that people update. I don't even know who updates Wikipedia. I haven't been elected in 4 years almost. Like, who's still updating this? Somebody cares enough about my life to update Wikipedia. It's fine. So infamous is still famous, and you have to remember that somebody out there is going to do business with you as long as you do your job the way that it needs to be done. But man, I tell you, those Hooters days, oh, those were the good old days, but that sure caused some stink, that's for sure.
Does it ever? Oh, we look, our brokerage, we almost lost our entire brokerage. We had an agent that we didn't know wasn't licensed. We thought she was like, according to everything she gave to us, it looked like she was. Turns out she wasn't. It wasn't our fault. We just didn't know. And we didn't check with the state to like confirm that, because she was a newly licensed agent, and we just sent in the paperwork like we always do. And it turned out she wasn't allowed to get a license, but we didn't know. And so she started practicing, and that's really, really bad. So that she's like helping people buy and sell homes, and she is not a licensed agent. So the state was like, what are you guys doing? And they basically said, we want to make an example of you because this is a really big deal. And it was like a totally honest, like, we would never let somebody do that intentionally. Obviously, we're not stupid. And they were like, we're going to take away your license, but we're going to let you start a new brokerage before that happens. And you can call it the same name, and you can move everybody over. If they want to come over, if they're good with that, fine, all your other agents. But we're going to eliminate that license. And we're like, well, that's weird. Why are they doing that? And then when they did that 6 months later, and everybody had already moved to the new, we explained it to our agents. It was just an honest error. And when everybody had already moved over, and then all of a sudden there was a news story that hit, and I was like, oh, that's why they did it. They wanted the news story. And then Inman got involved, and it was just like, oh my God, this looks so bad. And the truth of the matter is, things like that have happened.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, and the reality was nobody cared. 99% of our agents came over, but it was terrifying. And I think all of us have had some version of that. So does it ever happen, speaking of just politics, just because I'm curious, does it ever happen now where people do know your politics or did know your politics? Do they ever bring it up like, hey, we're not a fit because you think 100%. This way? Or
Yeah. And here's my favorite one. Knoxville, Tennessee is where I'm at, and Knoxville, Tennessee still is one of the top most relocated areas from California, right? Sure. California, Chicago. I prefer Chicago, P.S. So anybody up north that you're on the same time zone, I'm your gal. But California people would call me and they would Google me and they'd be like, oh, I'm just like you. You're not. Oh, I promise I'm not one of those crazy liberals. You are. I promise I'm not going to bring my politics with me. You are. I promise I'm not, I need you as my realtor because you voted a certain way. I'm like, you do realize how politics work, right? Like, yeah, it's a two-party system. You don't really get a choice on what you do. Like I voted. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you try to explain it to people. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So then I had the total opposite. I had the other people. I'll never do business with you because of the way you voted. Okay, buddy. Right. Whatever. Like, why are you calling me to tell me about it? Like, obviously you think it matters. So why are you calling to tell me about it? Do you have money? Can you buy or sell a piece of real estate? Right.
And the reality, like, I live in Chicago where everybody's liberal. And if you're a conservative, like, I feel bad for people who are conservatives here because the people who are here, they don't really like it. If you voted for Trump, they're not going to want, like, I remember when I was dating the first time Trump was elected, and I didn't vote for him. It doesn't really matter, but whether I did or not, but I didn't. But there would be people like, I don't want to date you if you voted for Trump. And I'm like, man, that is so sad because yeah, okay, I understand you might not like it if somebody voted a certain way, like, okay, fine. But the fact that we have two parties is a good thing. Like, you want half the country thinking one way and you want half the country thinking another.
We need more than one. We need three, probably. We probably need an independent. We probably need a purple in the middle. I got a red and blue. We need to mix that up a little bit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect my ability to negotiate a contract. I'm a freaking amazing negotiator. I mean, in 14 years, I've closed over 2,000 deals. Come on. Like, that's 100 deals a year. Come on. Like, I know what I'm doing, bro. Do you want this house? Do you want it at the lowest price? Do you want to sell your house at the highest price? That's the deal here.
And having people think differently is so good for democracy because it keeps the other side honest. Like, it's good that half the country is like, I think one way, and the other country, half the country thinks the other. Like, that's actually, you don't want everybody thinking the same way. Trust me, that's bad. That is a bad situation. That's
what we currently have.
Yeah, well, that's
Neither
true.
here nor
That's
there.
true.
You know,
But
the people are
things
divided. The politicians are not.
things swing, and things always kind of resolve. And so I never get
Yeah.
too worked up about it. But you're right. Like it is funny here in certain parts of the country, you have to keep that quiet. And if you unless you just want people to and it's tough.
Well,
And I
people
feel
want to
bad.
keep it quiet until they need something from you.
Of course. It's kind of like the attorney thing. My wife's an attorney, and it's like everybody hates an attorney until you need one. And then you're like, oh, no, I need one. But anyway, okay. So let's get I want to talk about something that you've said that I think is really so important. It's kind of like my mantra. And so I'm so excited that you said the same thing, which is about nothing worth doing ever is ever easy. So nothing
Right.
worth doing is ever easy. I mean, I was at the gym today. That's every gym appointment I've ever had. What's the thing you tried in those rebuilding years that just flat out didn't work? Something that you'd warn an agent to stay away from today?
Nothing in the rebuild. Like once I started rebuilding, I'd never made the same mistakes. Like in the building years, though, God Almighty, I mean, that's part of our coaching system. It's just a 24/7 mistake. People make them all the time. They don't track any of their leads. They don't track their numbers. They don't track their calls. They don't track their answers. They don't track their conversations. They don't have a follow-up plan. They don't have a past client plan. They don't have a marketing plan. They literally put nothing into place. And they're out here going, I sold my grandma's house. Great, Bob. Great. What are you going to do now? They don't have an open house plan. They don't have a door knocking plan. When they start to get to the point where they do have clients, they don't track that system. They make systems for nothing. And then they'll get 5 years into it if they make it past year 2 and go, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed and I don't have any, my pipeline dried up because the market changed. It's because you didn't have a plan in place. So, and when I first started, I did all those exact same things, except I only had to get to year 2 before I became uber successful. And I was like, whoop, better put a system in place here. Plop, plop, plop. So systems, it's systems creation, systems maintenance, systems overhaul. I mean, you really have to stay on top of it.
And if it's a little bit, I was listening to 2 neuroscientists speak about this recently, and I thought this was such a brilliant thing. Somebody was asking them, these 2 very well-respected neuroscientists, about neuroplasticity, the ability for us to change and learn and become different than we were in the past. And they were saying, hey, as you get older, isn't it true that there's data that shows you can change just as much as you can when you're earlier? It's harder to do it, but it's absolutely as possible. And they asked these neuroscientists, what do you actually have to do in order to stay pliable? Your brain stays moldable so it can make changes. And they said, here's the trick. And I want to share this with you and the audience because I thought it was so brilliant. It was, you always want to be doing things that are a little harder than your ability. Like, so what, it's like going to the gym. Like you want to do things.
It is exactly like going to the gym.
Exactly. And you want to be, and they said, you want to be a little bit frustrated. Every time you do something, it should be a little like, oh, I just can't quite get this because I want it to be this and I'm not quite there. They're like, that's the best. You don't want it to be so hard that you give up. That's not good. But they say you want it to be just, if it's too easy, you're not going to change. If it's easy, you're just going to coast and that's fine. And there are certain things that are easy and that's fine. But if you want to build your skills, if you want to make changes, you have to be willing to do the hard things. And I know that's you.
So as an example, I'm currently studying Italian, right? It is freaking hard. Like I never learned a foreign language when I was younger. I highly suggest anyone listening to this, if you're under the age of 25, for God's sake, please learn a foreign language. You still have the ability to do it much faster. Yeah. I'm 44. The shit is not easy. So I am currently studying Italian, and every single day I have to force myself to do 30 minutes of flashcards. Then I have to do like a workbook, a couple of chapters in a workbook, and then I have to do my Rosetta Stone. And then once a week, I have to go talk to someone. Every single conversation, this poor man is looking me in the face, and he's like, "You got this. It's okay. You've got this." I'm like, "We had the same conversation last week." He said, "But it sounds better this week." I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm crying in the corner. Not really, but every week is something new that's harder than the week before, and yet it's not so hard I can't do it.
Yeah. And it's a little uncomfortable and it's a little painful. It's and that's the trick, is that's what builds resiliency as well, right? And so I've interviewed hundreds of agents on the show over the years. Almost everyone who's stuck is convinced that the fix is more leads. Now, buy more, post more, spend more. You teach top 1%
It's not.
mindset.
Leads are not
Yes,
the answer.
what do most agents get wrong about why their business is stuck?
Yeah, so a lot of agents think that, oh, if I just get more leads, I'm going to win this race. Okay, first off, you need to get good leads. That's number one. So more leads isn't necessarily going to help you win. Where do you get a good lead? Because that's always the next question. Because an agent, oh, I've never been asked that before, Stacy. Okay. Where you get a good lead? Well, let's see. If you're new, you can go ask any top agent in your office because they have multiple listings. They probably have up 30 to 50 carrying managed right now is what you should have in this market as a single agent. So go ask that agent for one open house. And then you host that open house on a Wednesday, on a Saturday, and a Sunday. And you know what your ass gets to do all week? You're out door knocking, but you're not just door knocking. You're door knocking with a purpose because you're not bothering people in a no solicitation neighborhood. You're not selling anything. You are printing off a nice little flyer with your face on it. You're triple folding it. You're stapling your business card to the back. You know what that is? It's the comps for the neighborhood, for the whole neighborhood, and an invite to your open house. All you're doing is inviting them to come by and pick their neighbor. And then you take all the information every single day of that week after you have door knocked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I guarantee you've picked up one good lead. You have picked up one good lead. Not only that, but you've also had buyers come to your open house. So that'll give you one good lead. And you know what you're going to do to that one neighborhood for the rest of the 90 days that you have available to try to sell this house when you're trying to find buyers for it? You're going to every single time, you're going to watch it. Every single time a house in that neighborhood sells, you're going to reprint off that same pamphlet. Here's your comps, a house in your neighborhood sold, and you're going to door knock it again. And I bet you in 90 days, you get 5 good leads. And I bet those 5 good leads are probably ready to sell or move. So if you get 5 of those good leads out of a neighborhood of 100 to 150 because you've worked it for 90 days, 5 listings, well, that's 3 sign calls per listing average. That's 15 buyers. Oh my God, look at you, just started a business. Holy shit, 90 days.
If you don't door knock for your open
houses, you're not door knocking, you're losing.
You are losing. And the thing about it is you're right. You're not selling anything. You're not bothering people. You are like, hey, by the way, I'm working with so-and-so down the street. I want you to know that I'm hosting this thing on Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. I would love for you to come by because I always want to get advice from other neighbors about what's working, what's not, because I want to get a good family in here that actually raises the value for all the rest of you. So I want you there. Please come check it out. I'd love to say
hi. And then have a lender, if it's a summer, have a lender pay for a snow cone machine for kids, like something. Sure. Be like, hey, this is what we're offering. Please come by on Saturday. Please come by after church on Sunday. Please come by on Wednesday. Whatever it takes. Like, this is not rocket science. It's actual work.
I love it. So here's something you're doing that nobody I've ever talked to is currently doing, which I love. You're launching an athlete management company. Yeah. So the NIL is the Wild West. So you've sold 1,200 homes and you've built a brokerage. Why pour energy into athletes, and what does real estate teach you that sort of translates directly to that?
Well, athletes have money, number one. So they have money. They have real money. They've got money, and they can buy real estate. So I don't know why this is not a natural transition. 2, I absolutely freaking love football. Like, this is not something that's new for me. I did own a sports company when I was 24. It failed miserably. But I did own it, and I made a lot of great relationships in sports. So this has been something that I've wanted to do. It's a passion. I've wanted to do it a long time. And real estate's the reason I got the athletes. So an athlete needed a house. I was immediately available. I got a house, and then they needed to learn how to do cable and internet and utilities and upkeep and maintenance and rental insurance. And I was like, well, I could do all of that for you. And they were like, really? I would love for you to do all that for me. Here's a fee. Great. I'm paying you for this. Okay, great. And then it was like, what do I do with all this money? Do you have a tax company? I do. Do you have an investment firm? I do. Can you manage those relationships? I don't want them calling me. I can. And it turned into this thing that just snowballed into athletes talking to athletes. And then I started teaching them how to manage this stuff for themselves. Like, they are the CEO of their company. And I taught them that. And I teach them every single time we talk what I'm doing, why I'm doing it that way. They can look at it too. They can fire me at any time. Not one has. Keep getting hired. So it just snowballed into opportunity to then, on top of that, massive companies have started contacting me and saying, well, I've got, like currently we have a 12-plex condominium being built in downtown Knoxville. And I get a phone call from this guy in Nashville that says, hey, this is in Knoxville. Do you have Knoxville athletes that want to invest in this? Of course I do. Of course I have kids with money and we're not doing anything with it except plopping it in the stock market. Let me get a little packet together, pitch it to my kids. And 2 said yes. So now 2 of my kids are part owner in a 12-plex condominium complex in downtown Knoxville. Real estate is part of this, but every realtor out there thinks they can do it now. I'm telling you, I've seen 50. They're like, oh, I'm talking to the athletes. You're talking to the athletes about real estate and you don't own any, right? I own multiple pieces of real estate myself. I've had renters. I've had good ones. I've had bad ones. I've had things happen in rentals that you cannot even imagine. I've sold land. Name it. I've got the experience for it. I've done it. So when I give advice, I actually give it. It's not, athletes are not a group of people to take advantage of. That is a loyalty group. They are niche, they are small, and if you screw them one time, you're out forever. Their families know, and they all talk to each other. So athlete management to me is a passion that just so happened to stem from real estate.
I love that. I'll tell you a fun story that one of the top agents here in Chicago told me. He's a Compass agent. And he said, I just got an athlete a rental. And I said, oh, cool. How'd you find it? Was it a lead or like, he said, no. And I don't know why this wouldn't have occurred to, I'm sure other people have done it, but it wouldn't have occurred to me. He said, I learned that this person was being traded. He couldn't tell me who it was. He's like, we have a bunch of, pro teams here in Chicago. And so it was one of the pro teams. Somebody got traded in or signed a deal or whatever. And he said, oh, this person's 20 years old. They have an Instagram account. He said, hey, congratulations. Just saw you got, signed, whatever. You need a place to live. He said, I can help you do that. And I bet if you've never been here, you don't know what to do. He's like, I can do that for you. You just tell me this. And he got the deal. And I was like, that is brilliant. Like, and that,
typically the teams do have partner relationships. So a lot of the pro teams already have partner relationships with people that the player development has. Like some player development rotates constantly for collegiate and for pro. So whoever that relationship is with that player development situation typically will give them something. It is rare for you to be able to reach out and for a kid to go, I don't have that. I would even go a step further with what we do is we don't just say, I can help you with that. I say, these are the 16 properties I currently have available for lease. This is how far away they are from this stadium. This is the drive time. This is the cost. I know that your player development team is going to pay for X, X, and X. I can have this set up for you. When you get here, it'll be ready to go. Would you like a digital tour? I've already attached that here. So, I mean, I even do more. There's like a whole extra step to that you can create. You can do that for luxury buyers. You can do that for reloads. You can do that for anything. Just make an effort, my God.
And
it will come to you.
If this is also great advice for anyone that wants to be mayor of their zip code or their town or their neighborhood or suburb or whatever, wherever you're like, I want to be known as that person. And you create all of those guides for people that are moving in, all of that stuff, and most agents don't do that. So that's great advice. Okay. I want to talk about,
because it's easier to buy leads.
It's easier to buy leads. Let's talk about agents who are struggling, because so many agents are, and we understand that we've all struggled and we all continue to struggle. So let's talk about one of my listeners right now who is having their worst month in years. So the pipeline's dry, confidence is shot. I want you to pretend you're coaching them. What are the 3 things you'd have them do before they go to bed tonight?
Okay. Well, it depends on how dry the pipeline is, really. Like, how new are they? What's their experience level? There's a lot of conversation that goes into that. Because if this is somebody that their pipeline's dry because they've had, family issues, but they've been in the business long enough to have a past client pipeline, but they are too embarrassed to call their past clients because they did not follow up with their past clients like a lot of people do. That's a different conversation. So it really just depends where they are in their business. If it's somebody that's new, and again, a lot of new people get into real estate because they think it's easy, and they sell mom and dad's house and grandma's house. They make, I don't know, $5,000-6,000 bucks. They're like, look at me. I knew I could do it. And then they don't sell anything else. That's a different conversation.
Well, let's talk about the people that have been in business for a while who, as you said, and by the way, NAR has data on this, that most agents follow up exactly one time after the sale and then never again, which is so insane to me, but it happens. And so there's people listening who look, and there's no shame in that. We all made mistakes. So what would you tell that person how to re-engage their contacts that they've lost touch with?
So the first thing I always do when I do things like this, because I go months without talking to my past clients. Of course, they still get a touch every month and a gift every month. So I'm still technically there. It is what it is. Okay. So I want you to look through the last 12 months. If you have not enough sales to make that, go 24 months. And I want you to pull up every address you've sold. That's your first start. You can do that 10, 15 minutes. Okay. AI can do it for you. Look up every address you've sold. See if they haven't sold with somebody else, right? I mean, look at it. Make sure. If you want to go 5 years past, that's fine. That might actually help you a lot. Pull up every house. See if they haven't listed it with another agent in the meantime. If they have, let it go. Let it go. Take them out of your contacts list. They're gone. You lost them. That's done. Okay. If they haven't, and you still have the opportunity to touch them, look at their social medias and find a reason to. That's the first thing you can do. Have they had a graduation? Have they had a death? Have they had a birth? Have they had a divorce?
Vacation.
Have anything. Find a reason to say, oh my God, hey, your stuff popped up on my Facebook page and I haven't talked to you in forever. I dropped the ball there. I saw you wanted a great trip to Italy. Would love to connect and hear all about it. Can I buy you a coffee? I don't give a shit what reason you give. Just have a reason. So that's number one. Find the past client list, look through it. If they haven't sold or bought with someone else in the last 5 years, keep them on the list, look at their socials, find a reason, connect with them, and then connect with them. I bet they're going to be like, that was so nice. I'd love to talk to you. We had a really great short-term relationship for 90 days when we bought or sold this, you know?
I want to pause for a second because you said something super brilliant in those suggestions that I don't want to gloss over, and I want to make this point. What you didn't say was reply to the post you found on Instagram and say, hey, that looked like a great vacation, or congratulations on your high school graduate son or whatever. You said, pick up the phone, call them. I just saw that this on Instagram. I am so excited for you. I want to reconnect. Let's go have coffee.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
I love it. Okay, what else would you have them do?
Yeah, so that would be my first thing. And I'm going to guarantee you're not going to have to do anything after that. But if you don't get any responses from your past clients, you might want to consider why you have a real estate license. Okay, so you may want to know why your past clients don't want to speak with you. That could be an issue. Okay, and if you don't have a past client list, or no, we're doing this one for somebody that's been in the business a while. Okay, so that's the first thing I would do is I would go through my past client list. The second thing I would do is I would go back through every lead that had come through my database or my data bank and see what I haven't done to touch those people. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say you've had 90 days and you haven't sold a house and you're an experienced realtor and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, well, I can guarantee you that you've had leads come in. I can guarantee you've had text, calls, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You've probably paid for Zillow leads that aren't good. You've paid for something somewhere you have leads. All right, well, let's see. Every real estate agent has access to Forewarn for free. Thank you to the NAR, okay, who I'm not a fan of, but that was a great purchase, okay? You go and take every single one of those leads. You run it through Forewarn. If it shows that that person has an actual mailing address, that's a real phone number with a real person, and it's not some crazy person trying to steal from you, you need to go knock on that door. So you put that on for the next 3 weeks. Okay, here's a list of all the leads that I had that asked for something. I'm going to print off their home value. If they live in a neighborhood, I'm going to print off their neighborhood value. I'm going to go door knock that in person and say, I'm so-and-so. I'm Julia Hurley. I'm here. I'm a real estate agent with Just Homes Group. You had asked for some information on your home value. I noticed that you didn't list it for sale. Maybe you were just looking to refi. It doesn't matter anyway. Here's some free information on your house and your neighborhood. I am not trying to sell you anything today, but I'd sure love to talk with you if you were interested in the future. End of story. My God.
It's so easy. Can I tell you my favorite version of this, which was a person who I interviewed who lives in who wanted to work in Hollywood. In fact, he was part of the entertainment business and he was behind the camera and he was working in production. And then he's like, I'm not making enough money. I'll switch to real estate. And I'm like, oh, cool. So you just transitioned all the people in the entertainment business as clients? Because he goes, no. He goes, I kind of burned a lot of bridges, so I couldn't. So he goes, I had to start over. He goes, so here's what he did. And this really goes to what you're saying. He goes, I'm really into real estate. I get kind of really into like these beautiful homes in the Hollywood Hills. He's like, I know about them. I study them. He goes, I go and I'm in a suit, so I look professional. He goes, I knock on the door of some of these beautiful homes and I say, I am so sorry. I don't mean to bug you. I know all about this house. I studied this house. I love this house. Would you do me the honor of I want to see what it looks like on the inside and see
if
it
a man
matches.
knocked on my door and did that, he'd get shot in Tennessee. Like that is, do not knock on somebody's door and do that in the South.
Well, so he does this. He's a very nice person, and he's he's a professional. He's like, look, and he tells them like, I know this house was built at this time. He's like, would you do me the honor of just showing me the around? And he said, nobody ever says no. He's like, they're all so flattered. He's a very nice guy, and he goes through that, and then he
so
says,
was Ed Gein, my friend.
Yeah, that's true. So then at the end, he said, this is what he says, and this is the brilliant part. He says, look, I know you're not looking to probably sell anytime soon. He goes, but I love this house so much. The moment you are ready to sell, would you please just keep my card and just call me, because I can find a buyer for this place. So, and he does it. He goes, that's how I get all my business. And I'm like, that's amazing just to have the courage to do that, because that's what he's into. He's into the architecture and all that. So again, door knocking can absolutely work. It just seems scary. But the reality of it is, if you're not a creep, you don't have to worry about being creepy, right? Like if you're not actually
That's
a creep,
fair.
you don't
I'm
have
also
to worry
worried
about it.
other people being creeps as a female, but be very careful doing that for sure.
For sure. And certainly a lot easier for women to do it, and also be safe if you're a woman that's doing it, because, you always want people to know where you are just in case. Okay. Here's a question I ask a lot of people, but I wanted to ask it to you because I want to get your take on it. So you've lived this. So if you woke up tomorrow with your skills, but zero contacts, starting over in a brand new market, you have all the skills you have, but no contacts, nobody knows your name, what do you do in the first 30 days?
Host open houses for other realtors in the high-end subdivisions. Hands down. Open houses, door knocking. That's it. Door knocking, open houses. If I had to do anything else, I would host an open house in somebody's house 5 days a week if I had to. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would take Monday and Tuesday. I would probably go to a networking event, a school function, soccer match, something. Like if you are not seen, you will not have business. Be out doing something. Go to the local chambers. They're not going to give you any business, but you'll be seen.
Yes.
You'll be seen. So that's what I would do. Is there a country club nearby? Go to a country club for coffee. Go to a country club for a dinner. Go to a country club for drinks. Find a mahjong group. Hell, that's the most popular thing in America right now.
Or pickleball.
Find mahjong. Something, anything. Go do something in the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Boy, that's just perfect advice. Okay. So what's the minimum viable version of the profit-driven management that you teach? So for a solo agent who doesn't have a big budget or a team, but they want to do a profit-driven management system that you've built that you can teach, where do they start?
So I started my entire company with Google Docs, Google Spreadsheet, Google Docs. It's free. It's free. Okay. It doesn't have to be fancy. And if you're joining a brokerage for the first time, because you can't be your own broker here in Tennessee for 3 years, wherever you are, if you can't have your own brokerage yet and you're too new, then use their free email, right? Use a Gmail email. Do something for yourself, like my name, realtor@gmail.com, Julia Hurley, realtor@gmail.com. You know what I mean? Like whatever your name is at realtor@gmail.com. You have Google Docs and Google Sheets. You can literally track every single thing you do in that program for free. It'll cost you $0. $0. You can create automatic email templates inside of Google for free. You can schedule them to send whenever you would like for free. You don't have to use Constant Contact. You don't have to use MailChimp. You don't have to do any of these things that these huge agents do. And the reason those huge agents do that is because they need write-offs for their company, because they made it big. So they have to spend a little bit to pay less taxes. That's just part of the budget. But if you're brand new, use what's free.
I love it. And there are so many free tools now. I mean, it's, and look, if you can't even afford an AI pro subscription, use the free versions, and a lot of that can be automated even through the free versions of AI. So definitely, there's so many options. We use Google Docs. We use it today. I mean, I have my own CRM that I use when I recruit agents, but I still use Google Docs for this conversation we're having. It's all in Google Docs. So I love it. Okay. One thing that you're a big fan of is finding people who accomplished or have accomplished more than you have. Yeah. And this is the part, not just like learn from them. This is the part that really threw me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why did this never occur to me? Find people who are more accomplished than you. And then you say, give them value, provide value to them. So I don't know why that's so amazing that I don't know anyone's ever said that to me. So for someone who feels like maybe they don't have anything to offer to a heavy hitter, what does
you always have something to offer?
Okay, so let's talk about that. What does that look like?
You always have something to offer. So one of my most annoying habits, and I've learned to be much nicer about it as I've aged, because as you get older, you're just calmer and lovelier. When I was younger, people were like, can I take you for a coffee and pick your brain? No, you cannot. I can afford my own coffee. I can afford my own lunch. I can afford my own dinner, unless you're like on a private jet to Italy that I can't do at this very moment. I got nothing for you. Like, you are giving me nothing for my time, and my time is valuable. Okay. So you can't say it like that. That's mean. But what you can say is, why don't you come back and ask me for that when you have something to offer? Right? When you have something that's a win-win or no deal, win-win or no deal, win-win situation, what's in that for me, without saying what's in that for me? Let's make that a win-win. Come back to me when you have some ideas. Okay. So let's say, for example, you're so new and you really and truly don't know how to sell real estate. You're with a brokerage that isn't really coaching you, but they sold you on coaching. You have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You don't even have your own company or LLC set up yet. You have no idea what's going on, and you really just need to ask some basic level questions. And you want to go for a top producer to do that because that's who you want to be. That's great. Offer them something. Say, listen, in exchange for your time, I'll host 5 open houses for you and give you all the leads back to your team.
That's an amazing,
you understand what I'm saying?
That's
right.
amazing.
So you're offering your time as well in exchange for the value of being able to pick the brain of someone that you really need to talk to. That person's not only going to take you seriously when you offer that, they're going to say, well, shit, I might want to recruit them to my brokerage or my team. They're willing to work. I might need to pay this person. I'm definitely going to take that meeting.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look, nobody has ever said on this show, ask a top producer to do an open house. So yes, we hear that all the time. That's been asked. That's, of course, and you should do that. But top producers are pretty smart, and they also might think, I don't know you. I don't know what your style is, what your skill is. Like, I got a brand to protect. You got to prove to me that you know what you're doing. Well, one of the ways you do that is to say, I'm willing to do 5 of these and give you all of the leads just to prove to you that I'm the real deal. I want to learn from you.
Right. 100%. If you're not bringing anything to the value of this conversation, I don't want to have the conversation anymore. I don't have time for it in my workday. And I'm not trying to be offensive when I say that. Nobody that's successful has time to give you for free without receiving something. And 99% of the time, what will happen is you can go contact these huge CEOs and people that you admire, and you can send them 1,000 emails and send them gift bags or what. They're not going to call you. What you are giving them is not something that they need or something they value. So find them on social media. Find out what their life is like. Find out what they like to do. Maybe give them a gift card. Write a handwritten note. My God, the art of a handwritten note is just out the window. Write a handwritten note. It's gone. So it really just depends on what market you're in, what price range you want to be in versus where you're at now. But connect with those people and give them something of value. Give them a reason to want to bring you in the door.
That is such a perfect answer. And I am so happy that you said it in the way that you did, because you're absolutely right. And by the way, if you don't know what to offer them, that's okay. You can ask them, where's your biggest pain point right now? Where are you struggling, Mr. or Mrs. Top Producer? Because I will be willing to solve that for you in exchange for some open houses or whatever. You find out what they need and then go, I'll do that for you for free,
And I will tell you right now, I'll just tell you what the problems are. I will tell you right now, even I will tell you the only person that I have found that probably doesn't have this issue right now. There's two agents that I follow nationally: Ryan
Sure.
Serhant, or whatever his name
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Annoying as hell, but he has great marketing. Like, you know
Great.
what I mean? He has great marketing. So he doesn't need any marketing. But I've been watching a few of his videos where his agents are really dropping the ball on follow ups. If you created a system for Ryan Serhart to give his new agents that keep dropping the ball that you can hand him for 30 minutes of his time, I bet he'd say yes. You know what I'm saying? And then
For
that lady in
sure.
Atlanta, and I can never remember her name. She wears a big star on her sweaters and her hair's back combed, whatever her name is. She's a sweet lady. I don't know. She just has very interesting videos. She was part of the Tom Ferry program for years and
Sure.
years and years. But I watch her, and in my mind, in my opinion, what she needs is a team. Like, so she is constantly now talking about how she has so much business, and she's obviously got a lot of team members, but she doesn't have a successful team, right? She's making money hand over fist. She's doing great, but I'm seeing her conversations are lacking in what she has, like as far as build the bench, pulling from the bench. So more people. So listen, I'll help you recruit 3 agents in your market if you give me 30 minutes your time.
I
So it's
love
like,
it.
what do these people need? Find it and give it to them.
It's all about them. It's never about you. It's always
100%.
about that. It's funny. I recruit agents for our brokerage, and we have all these features and benefits like every brokerage has. And I used to say, like, no, we really do all these amazing things, which we do. We legitimately do them. And then I thought, everybody says they do amazing things. And I said, nobody really cares. And I said, people really only care about you solving their specific problem, which I don't know. And so if I'm like, we do this, and this, and then the person may be like, well, those aren't my problems. I don't need those solved. And now I just go, oh, tell me about your business. Where are you struggling right now? And then I think, can I solve that? And then I offer a solution and I say, hey, and that just works so much better. It's so funny.
You'll make the best money you've ever made in your life solving a problem. You'll
It,
make more money than you've ever made, than those people will make, than anybody will ever make if you create a problem and solve it.
By the way, oh yeah, well that's an even better. I want to talk about how much this isn't done. So, because look, I have this podcast. I'd say it's successful. We've been doing it 8 years. We have sponsors. We have a huge audience, and I'm super grateful to everyone for sharing it and telling everyone about it. Do you know how many people have ever look? Lots of realtors, and this isn't a podcast for the public; it's for realtors. But I know things. Do you know how many people have reached out to me as one of the top real estate agent podcasts in the country and has said, hey, I'd love to pick your brain. I'd love to forget even about offering me anything, just asking me, hey, I would love to find out how to do this. Now, I don't have time for it, so I would like you, but even just the ask, maybe 5 people over 8 years, maybe. And it's like, I am super easy to find. And I don't want people to do this unless you have something to offer me, because I am too busy. But the reality of it is, most people just never even do the approach. And if you can do the approach with, I can solve a problem for you in exchange for your time, that would be music to my ears. I would be like, let's talk. Yeah, you are absolutely right. I would never turn down that conversation. Sometimes people are like, DJ, can you be on my show? And then I'm like, well, I got to look up how much numbers they do, because I don't want to be on a show that has like 50 listeners, because I don't have time. Not that I care, but I care about my time. And so nobody ever says, hey, I can get you in front of 1,000 other agents who might then listen to your show. That's why you should be on my show. Like, nobody ever says that to me. They just go, can you be on my show? Like, and I'm like, no. And so you're absolutely right. Offer something of value. That is so brilliant. I love that.
So here's the deal. Don't ask a yes or no question. Ask
Mm-hmm.
an open-ended question. You'll get an open-ended answer. So it's like, can you be on my show? No. Or you could say, what would it take to get you on my show?
Yes.
Give me
Yes.
a reason to answer you.
100%. And yeah, I love that. Start with the problem, find out the problem, whatever the problem is, offer the solution, and then promise the result. That's all you got to do. And it's shockingly opposite of the way most people think. Most people think I got to sell myself.
So I had something really fun the other day happen. I had a real estate agent in Colorado call me because he's running for public office and wanted me to coach him. So I forgot to tell you about this. It had nothing to do with real estate, but it's a realtor that I used to coach years ago, who is now running for public office and wants me to coach him in how to run for office. So I'm
Amazing.
like, maybe I have a whole new side company now. Any
Well,
realtors out there? I have a whole business. I have a whole. And I was like, you just gave me an idea. Now that was
yes,
worth something. That was worth my call. I was like, you
right.
gave me an idea on something to do. Yeah,
Oh, and you've given me ideas throughout this show, and you've given our audience ideas. So, guys,
good.
as we're listening, everybody feels stuck. We all feel stuck. We all have those moments, and it's okay to feel stuck. It's just natural. It's what happens. And we just think, what's the next thing I'm supposed to do? What's the next right thing I'm supposed to do? How do I add value to any of my clients' lives? My clients will use me if I add value. If you're doing social media posts and all your videos are about just listed, just sold, like, okay, fine. Like, I guess that's okay. Like, fine if you want to brag. By the way, we're the only profession where people brag about their success. Like, you don't see that with like doctors going, I just did my 10,000th surgery, but whatever, fine. If
I
you want to
mean, we
brag,
do see it, but only if you're around doctors all the time,
well, that's true. But they're not
right?
doing it
Because
on
they do
social media.
brag.
Yeah, but
Oh
they're not
God,
doing
no.
it on social
Yeah,
media. But anyway, if you want to brag about your successes, I don't even say don't do that. But don't only do that. In fact, make that the small part of what you do. Instead, give like Julia said, give value. Why should somebody
yeah,
care to watch your video?
100%.
Why give them a reason? Hey, you're moving to Knoxville. Here's 5 things you need to know right now. Or you already live in Knoxville. Here's 5 things you need to know about what's going on this weekend in the community. Like whatever it is, you need to provide actual value, not just, hey, look at how cool I am because I sold $1 million property. Yes, okay, do that and do 10 other videos about I can help you do this. Here's a little thing. Here's where the best dentist is in town. Like even
Right.
that would be helpful, right?
Mhm.
I love it.
Yep. Do all those things.
All right, Julia, you are incredible. Julia Hurley has been our guest. She is a powerhouse. I can't think of another guest we've ever had on who's provided this much value to our agents, and we love all of our guests. But you've been really a special episode for us. So thank you
That is
for
so
being.
kind. You now owe me 5 referrals from
I
Chicago to Knoxville.
That's true. Wait. Actually, this has been a pretty boring interview, and no, yes, but hey, guys,
Oh my gosh.
let's thank Julia. She's actually got a really good point. Now, I don't practice real estate, but you guys do. So let's help Julia in her business because number one, she's a good, amazing person. She just gave you everything you need to do to get unstuck and to scale your business. She really told you pretty much everything, and she did it for free. So let's make her successful as well. So if you have people that move in and out or are looking for a second home or looking to retire, especially from these cold places like Chicago and are looking to go to cool places like Knoxville, talk to her. Say, hey, I have clients that may be moving into this area. Let's talk. Or if that's not what's going on with you, buy her book and buy her book anyway, right? So we'll have a link to her book in the show notes. Follow her on socials, The Julia Hurley. She's everywhere. So go to her website, thejuliahurley.com. You will get so much good advice from her. Look at what she was willing to do for free for us today. Like that's truly, I don't take that for granted. I appreciate it. Our audience appreciates it. So on behalf of our audience, Julia, legitimately, thank you. We really,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you. And on behalf of Julia and myself, we appreciate you, the listener, because without you, this thing doesn't even work. So please support our sponsors, support Julia, go to her website, go to her socials, follow her, ask how you can provide value to her. And by the way, guys, she's a pretty good person to hitch your wagon to. She's gone places and she's super approachable and super sweet. So wouldn't be the worst idea to reach out and say, hi, I loved your interview, and let's chat. So but offer her something of value because she's busy. So do that. And also the way that you can help us continue to grow this show is by telling a friend. Think of one other agent. Probably every agent needs to hear this episode. So any agent you can think of, send this episode to them. I would be honored if you did that. That helps us continue to get to more listeners and we can service more agents and help you guys all together. So on behalf of everyone on the team here, Julia, thank you. We will see everybody on the next episode.
Bye.